All right, next is citizen comments regarding agenda items, but you know, I think we only have 2 people that have requested to speak, so we will have them speak item or not item on the agenda. First person I have, Jimmy Teeling. He's one of the older gentlemen in the audience.
Jimmy Teeling. Mayor and Council, I've spent the last couple weeks researching Senate Bill 2, and I'm here to say on the record my support for SB 2. For those who don't know, SB 2, or the Texas Property Tax Reform and Relief Act of 2019, is a bill that is authored by our own state senator and McKinney resident Angela Paxton. This bill makes it so that in the event a large government, like the city of McKinney, raises their effective maintenance and operations tax rate above 2.5%, it will trigger an election where the citizens will have the ability to vote on whether or not they approve of the tax hike. One major argument against SB 2 is that it is believed that the proposed trigger would have an adverse effect on our city's bond rating, which was recently upgraded to AAA by Moody. There are many aspects that go into a bond rating other than our ability to independently raise revenue. Some of the other considerations are revenue growth prospects, expenditure flexibility, long-term liability burden, and operation performance. Nobody in this room can predict the future. One just cannot say that if SB 2 passes, we will lose our AAA bond rating, or if it fails, that we won't fall short in other aspects and will be able to maintain our rating, or vice versa for both situations. There is no doubt that bond ratings will be evaluated if this bill passes. However, it is only one piece to a much larger puzzle. This last Wednesday, Mayor Fuller graciously opened the Sanctuary Event Center to have a dialogue on SB 2. The mayor and I have opposing viewpoints on this bill, but at this point in my comments, I don't think that's much of a surprise. However, I do commend Mayor Fuller for stating publicly that in the event that this bill passes, he will work to preserve our funding for public safety. Our mayor and council have also worked hard the past 2 years ensuring that our tax rate is below the proposed cap, all through voluntary action in our budget. Additionally, Mayor Fuller is correct in saying that we must have comprehensive tax reform, including school finance reform and ending state unfunded mandates. It is my view that this comprehensive reform should be instituted piece by piece through smaller legislation as opposed to one large bill. However, as I've been informed just a few minutes ago, there seems to be progress being made in Austin on creating more comprehensive tax reform. I believe that SB 2 is a first step into more comprehensive property tax reform. The Property Tax Reform and Relief Act is a fundamental stepping stone into a much broader tax relief, which every citizen, not only in McKinney, but in the entire state of Texas, has been pleading for. Even if this bill only saved taxpayers a penny a month, any reduction in the amount of taxes paid is an amount worth fighting for. Thank you.
Thank you. Generally, I don't speak to something, but I will. First, Jimmy, I love the fact that you are always so engaged, and you were there that night. The only thing I would disagree with you on tonight is I actually don't disagree with anything that you just said. I want tax reform. I want tax relief. Not opposed to caps. I want. The only thing I would say is that. And my primary battle, although it's easy to take little bits and pieces of some of the things I've said, because they all, as you said, we don't know what will happen with bond ratings or whatnot, and that's just such a small piece. But I believe what we have right now in Austin, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, is we have all 3 legs are committed to pass a bill, and I believe there's a lot of reasons why that's happening today. It's no coincidence that it happened after an election process that really almost tipped the scales for a lot of people in ways that they did not expect it. And so there's a movement to have a win, if you will, right now. And SB 2 will pass in some form or fashion. My attitude is, at the end of the day, I want to save McKinney taxpayers money. And so I'm interested in a bill that does that. And with SB 2 right now, so it is sure to pass in some form or fashion. This is our best opportunity to attach things and hold our legislators accountable to add language to that bill that actually provides not just reform, but relief. And so I agree with you that if it worked so easily, and you know, we've seen bills come and go for the last 2 decades on school finance reform and on in the last decade on recapture and all these things. They never seem to produce a result for us. SB 2 is going to pass in some form or fashion. Let's get our legislators to be let's hold them accountable to make it be as meaningful as it can. And in the first form that it came out, the reason why I fought against it so hard, and I will continue if it were to stay in that form, but it's already seen movement to produce results that are going to be far more beneficial than they would have. If people just jumped on board and agreed with that bill as written, you know, great, save me a penny. Okay, I'll take a penny savings. But if I see an opportunity to save everyone in this room hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars, I'm going to take that opportunity. And that's why I'm fighting. So for those who don't know, I'm not fighting because we don't want, or I don't want tax relief. Before, during, and after mayor, I'm a taxpayer. And I believe in, you know, wholeheartedly that we need to do any and everything we can to find relief. People are being priced out of their homes. Businesses are finding it harder to operate. So I see an opportunity for real reform, and it will only happen if we don't acquiesce to that easy, quick little bumper sticker that because it has the word reform and relief, that it means reform and relief. So I just want I'm wanting to seize the opportunity to really see a productive result. So, but I don't agree with anything that or disagree with anything that you said, and the fact that you're even here saying it at your age, as I always say, I'm going to go home tonight and lecture my kids on being more like Jimmy. Right? So, and matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to lecture all my friends that I know to be more like Jimmy, as you are far more engaged and productively and constructively, by the way, I might add, on social media. You are always a constructive voice, and I appreciate that as well. And thanks for being there Wednesday night. We're going to do a lot more of those, and I want you to be at every one of them.
I will be.
All right. Thank you. Next is Nina.